Rewind back about 11 months ago, and I'm not sure how many people would have thought the Kansas City Chiefs would be in this position. They had just traded away their star receiver Tyreek Hill and allowed Tyrann Mathieu and star corner Travarius Ward to walk in free agency. And as the Kansas City Chiefs continue to watch the AFC West teams bring in high-profile players and build these teams to stop them, the Kansas City Chiefs stuck to the script and replaced Tyreek Hill with volume instead of household names, and continued to trust the process throughout the draft. In the end, that turned out to be the perfect plan for the Kansas City Chiefs, as they got great production from their rookies all season. And being led by 4 rookie Super Bowl starters, the Chiefs' 2022 class of first-year players combined for 61 starts this season. And that's the first piece of this amazing puzzle. The Chiefs just won a Super Bowl with their quarterback eating up 17% of their salary cap. No team had won before with a quarterback eating up more than 12%. The Chiefs had 22 selections across the past 3 NFL drafts. Due to their success, they never had a pick above the 21st overall. So not only do you have a low draft pick, now you must also hit on those draft picks, because the next pick you get is even later. And generally those players are supposed to get worse, but the Chiefs don't seem to get that memo. 17 of those 22 draft picks played in this year's AFC Championship game, including 10 who played at least half of the game. From this year's AFC Championship alone, you could see the impact these rookies had across the board. Isaiah Pacheco, who went in the 7th round, gave the Chiefs 85 yards combined in a game where yards were hard to come by. George Karlaftis came up with a huge sack and added much needed depth to that defensive front. Cornerback Jalen Watson, who went 243rd, had an interception for the 2nd consecutive playoff game. The other corner, Joshua Williams, had an interception with the help of another rookie, Brian Cook. Their first-round corner, Trent McDuffie, had 2 pass deflections and 6 tackles while taking 98% of the snaps. And last but not least, receiver, and in this case returner, Sky Moore, who delivered the massive 29-yard punt return to set up the Chiefs' final game-winning drive. So all of these plays were made because the Chiefs stayed the course and trusted their draft evaluation to help fill out this roster. But you see, I said help fill out this roster, because offensively you know what you're getting from your 2 juggernauts. It's been a decade since the Kansas City Chiefs had a losing season, and not that we expected them to have a losing season, but we certainly didn't expect for them to go 14-3 after just losing multiple key pieces. And despite losing the NFL's best playmaker in Tyreek Hill, the Chiefs actually scored more points and gained more yards than they did in 2021, leading the NFL in both of those categories, and that was with the Chiefs not having a single receiver finish top 20 in receiving yards or top 30 in receiving touchdowns. But that's a huge kudos to Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, and Travis Kelce. In fact, the Chiefs were the only team to pass for more than 5,000 yards this season, and the Chiefs' 41 passing touchdowns were 6 more than the Bengals in 2nd place. And they weren't slouches on the ground either, racking up 18 touchdowns by foot and being top 10 in the league in that category as well. And with the additions of Isaiah Pacheco and Jerick McKinnon, the Chiefs had an amazing lightning and thunder 1-2 punch. Isaiah Pacheco gave this team that spark they needed in the run game, making defenses respect the run and running with such velocity and power and making defenses feel him on every single snap. Pacheco finished up with 170 rush attempts for 830 yards and 5 touchdowns. His 830 rushing yards are the most by a player drafted in the 7th round in the past 22 seasons. His 830 rushing yards are also the most by a Chiefs running back since 2017. He and Sky Moore helped make the Chiefs the first team to have multiple rookies score touchdowns in the Super Bowl. Jerick McKinnon, on the other hand, being lightning in this case, was the guy the Chiefs used as more of a scat back or receiving back, and they let Pacheco handle all the inside the tackle running. McKinnon this season finished with 56 receptions for 512 yards and 9 touchdowns, both helping give the Chiefs an extra boost out of the backfield. But the list doesn't end there of new faces making big impacts this year. The guys who were brought in to replace Tyreek Hill also did not disappoint. Juju Smith-Schuster this season has 78 receptions for 933 yards and 3 touchdowns, and that's all while missing 3 games. But Juju was a very reliable target whenever Patrick Mahomes needed him and came in clutch during the second half of the Super Bowl, where he finished with 7 receptions on 9 targets for 53 yards. Marquez Valdes-Scantling added on another 42 receptions for 687 yards and 2 touchdowns, averaging a ridiculous 16 yards per catch. But all of these guys just helped build a wall around the real troublemakers, which were Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. Now, with Tyreek Hill leaving, we knew Patrick Mahomes would rely on Travis Kelce even more than he did in previous seasons, but I'm not sure if we would have expected this from Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce had the trifecta for the Chiefs this season, leading them in receiving yards, receptions, and receiving touchdowns. He finished this season with 12 touchdowns, which is the most he's ever had. He set a new single-season career high with 110 receptions, which is a new record for catches by a tight end in a single season, which he previously set in 2020. And he finished the season with 1,338 receiving yards, which is fourth most all-time by a tight end in NFL history. And when you have Patrick Mahomes, who is not only the best quarterback in the NFL, but the best player in the NFL, it also makes life a lot sweeter. Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes teaming up is almost unfair, as we've seen in the Super Bowl, where they had not one, but 2 touchdowns by receivers with 10 or more yards of separation. And that's just the 5th time that's happened in any game since 2016. Patrick Mahomes was a magician all season this year whenever his team needed him to be, including being a poised pocket passer or making those Mahomes magic kind of plays as he did against the Buccaneers and the Broncos. Patrick Mahomes finished 435 of 648, good enough for a 67% completion rate for 5,250 yards, which was good enough for first in the NFL, and 41 touchdowns, which was also good enough for first in the NFL. And of course, this season can be summed up with his gutsy performance in the Super Bowl, where he tweaked his ankle in the second quarter while the Chiefs were already trailing by 10 points. But you didn't think that injury would keep him out, did you? I mean, come on, it's the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes finished that second half 21 of 27 for 182 yards and 3 touchdowns, while adding another 44 yards rushing in a huge 26-yard scramble that set up the game-winning field goal. This season was nothing less than a masterclass that Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs put on. Although they've lost multiple pieces, they have a pick in every round of the draft this season, and considering their success with draft picks, that's not too bad. And they have their fundamental 3 pieces being Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, and Travis Kelce, so the NFL is still in trouble for many years to come. I couldn't touch on the defense in this video, but if you'd like to see a Kansas City Chiefs defensive analysis, please comment below. Until then, be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and check out one of my previous videos regarding the resurgence of Saquon Barkley. Peace.